You wake up tired, even after 8 hours of sleep. You set big goals, work hard for weeks, but still feel like you're getting nowhere, constantly frustrated by how slow progress feels. What if you could hack your brain to make tiny actions feel rewarding enough to create unstoppable momentum? In this video, I'll share 6 psychology-backed strategies used by top performers that will transform your microscopic wins into exponential growth starting today. I discovered this framework when I was stuck in what I call the motivation graveyard, working hard but seeing zero results, about to quit everything. Then I found research from Stanford's Behavior Design Lab showing that celebrating small wins literally rewires your brain's reward system. The problem is, most people dismiss their small victories as not enough, which kills the exact neural pathways that create lasting change. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to engineer a success spiral that compounds automatically. Let's dive in. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most people completely overlook the power of recognition. The 2-minute victory log is a daily practice where you physically write down 3 to 5 small wins within 2 minutes before bed. These aren't your major achievements, they're the micro actions you normally ignore. Made your bed? Write it down. Drank your water goal? Write it down. Resisted checking your phone for 1 hour? Write it down. Research from Harvard Business School's Teresa Amabile found that tracking small wins activates the same reward circuitry as major achievements. Your brain doesn't actually distinguish between important and unimportant progress. It just registers forward movement. When you document these micro victories, you're creating what psychologists call positive feedback loops. Each time you acknowledge progress, your brain releases dopamine, which increases motivation for the next action. This is why successful people seem to have endless energy. They've trained their brains to find rewards everywhere. First, keep a dedicated notebook or phone note titled Daily Wins. Don't mix it with other content. Second, set a recurring alarm for the same time every night, ideally 30 minutes before bed. Consistency creates automaticity. Third, write in specific terms, not "I was productive," but "I completed the budget spreadsheet and sent it to my boss." Specificity strengthens memory and coding. Fourth, avoid the common mistake of only logging worthy wins. If you did it intentionally and it moved you forward in any way, it counts. For instance, instead of dismissing "I only worked out for 10 minutes, write "I showed up and moved my body for 10 minutes despite feeling tired." But writing things down is just the foundation. Now, let's talk about something even more powerful that multiplies the effect. This next one is crucial because it creates an instant psychological anchor that you can access anytime. The compounding celebration ritual is a consistent physical gesture plus verbal phrase you perform immediately after completing any small win, no matter how tiny. This could be a fist pump with "I did it," a snap with "nailed it," or even a quick dance move with "progress." The key is same gesture, same words every single time, performed within 3 seconds of completion. B.J. Fogg, founder of Stanford's Behavior Design Lab, discovered that immediate celebration is the single most powerful behavior change tool available. Here's the science. When you celebrate within 3 seconds, your brain creates what's called a temporal association between the action and the reward feeling. Over time, this ritual literally conditions your nervous system to crave productive actions. Athletes have used this for decades. Think of Usain Bolt's signature pose or Cristiano Ronaldo's celebration. These aren't just for show, they're neurological anchors that reinforce winning behavior patterns and prime the body for future success. First, choose a celebration that feels natural but distinctive. It should be something you wouldn't normally do in other contexts. Test a few options today and notice which one makes you genuinely smile. Second, perform it immediately after each micro win throughout your day. And I mean immediately. Sent that text you've been avoiding? Celebrate before checking if they replied. Finished one paragraph of your essay? Celebrate before starting the next. The immediacy is non-negotiable. Third, commit to using the exact same gesture and phrase for at least 21 days. Your brain needs repetition to form the association. Don't switch it up or you'll have to restart the neural pathway formation. Fourth, avoid the trap of saving celebrations for big wins. That defeats the entire purpose. For instance, instead of thinking I'll celebrate when I finish the whole project, celebrate when you complete each 30-minute work session. Now you're building momentum, but there's a hidden obstacle that quietly sabotages most people's progress. Most people don't know this, but comparison is the single fastest way to erase all the momentum you've built. The comparison kill switch is a mental framework where you actively redirect comparison thoughts from external benchmarks, other people's progress, to internal benchmarks, your own baseline. This means replacing "they're already at level 10 while I'm at level 3" with "I'm at level 3 now, but I was at level 1 last month." You create a personal measurement system that only compares you to your past self. Neuroscience research from UCLA shows that social comparison activates the amygdala, your brain's threat detection center, which triggers cortisol release and suppresses dopamine. This is why scrolling through social media makes you feel terrible, even when you were productive all day. You're biologically programming yourself to feel inadequate. Conversely, self-referenced progress activates the ventral striatum, the brain region associated with reward and motivation. When you compare yourself only to your past self, you eliminate the moving target problem. Everyone else's progress becomes irrelevant background noise, and your focus narrows to what actually matters: forward movement from your starting point. First, establish your baseline for key areas. Write down where you are right now in specific metrics. Currently do 5 push-ups max. Work focus for 15 minutes before distraction. Save $50 per month. These become your only comparison points. Second, install a thought pattern interrupt. When you notice comparison thinking, and you will, visualize a bright red stop sign and ask yourself, what was my baseline and where am I now? This redirects neural processing from threat detection to progress recognition. Third, curate your information diet ruthlessly. Unfollow accounts that trigger comparison. Mute Instagram stories of people in your field. Leave Facebook groups where people humble brag. This isn't jealousy, it's psychological hygiene. Protect your mental environment like you protect your home. Fourth, watch for the sneaky comparison trap, dismissing your progress because someone else achieved the same thing faster. Your timeline is yours alone. For instance, instead of "I finally got promoted after 3 years while they got promoted in 1 year," reframe as "I'm now in a position I wasn't in 3 years ago." That's growth worth celebrating. With comparison out of the way, you're ready for this game-changing strategy that compounds everything. But wait, there's more to this. Breaking down goals isn't enough. You need a specific architecture. The micro-milestone map is a goal-structuring system where you break any objective into 20 to 30 tiny milestones that take no more than 1 to 3 hours each to complete. Instead of write book, which is overwhelming, you create, outline chapter 1, then write 500 words of intro, then draft first character description, then edit opening paragraph, and so on. Each micro-milestone gets its own checkbox and celebration moment. Research from the University of Chicago found that people experience motivation spikes not from distant goal achievement, but from frequent progress signals. Your brain's reward system operates on a "what have you done for me lately" basis. When you have 30 checkboxes to complete instead of one massive goal, you're triggering the reward circuit 30 times instead of once. This creates what researchers call goal gradient effect. The closer you are to completing something, the more motivated you become. By having constant micro-completions, you're perpetually in a state of almost done, which is neurologically addictive. This is why video games are so engaging. They use this exact mechanism with constant level-ups and achievements. First, take your current big goal and use the 1 to 3 hour rule. Ask, what can I complete in one focused session that moves me forward? That becomes one micro milestone. Keep breaking down until everything fits this time frame. If something takes more than 3 hours, it's still too big. Second, physically visualize your map. Use a poster board, whiteboard, or digital tool like Trello, where you can see all milestones at once and check them off. The visual progress is crucial. It needs to be impossible to ignore. Place it somewhere you see multiple times daily. Third, adopt the completion momentum approach. As soon as you finish one micro milestone, immediately identify the next one you'll tackle. Don't take long breaks between micro wins during a work session. Strike while the dopamine is flowing. Fourth, avoid vague milestones. Make progress on presentation isn't a micro milestone, it's still a nebulous task. Instead, create title slide with company logo or write bullet points for slides 3 to 5. Specificity eliminates decision fatigue. For example, instead of work on fitness, your map should read, complete warm-up routine, do 3 sets of squats, log workout in app. You're building serious momentum now, but let me share something that will prevent the inevitable plateau. Now you might be thinking, what happens when I stop seeing results? Great question. And this is where most people quit. The plateau anticipation protocol is a preemptive mental strategy where you schedule your plateaus before they happen. You literally mark on your calendar, week 3 to 4, expected plateau phase, or days 20 to 30. Progress may feel invisible. You write down in advance how you'll feel, frustrated, doubtful, and what you'll do instead of quitting. Continue the process. Review past wins. Adjust approach slightly. Psychological research shows that unexpected plateaus trigger what's called cognitive dissonance. The mental stress of, I'm doing everything right, why isn't it working? Which creates a powerful urge to quit. Your brain interprets lack of progress as evidence that the strategy is failing. However, when you anticipate plateaus, why? You reframe them from failure signals to normal phases of growth. Sports scientists have documented this in athletic training. Every improvement curve has flat periods where adaptation is happening beneath the surface. Muscles grow during rest, not during the workout. Skills consolidate during plateaus, not during breakthroughs. When you expect this, your brain doesn't panic. Instead, it recognizes, yes, this is the integration phase I planned for. This eliminates the surprise factor that triggers quitting behavior. First, when starting any new goal, create a realistic progress prediction. Based on research or others' experiences, mark when plateaus typically occur. Most behavioral change plateaus happen around weeks 3 to 4, 8 to 10, and 16 to 20. Mark these periods in advance with a different color on your calendar. Second, write a plateau protocol letter to your future self. Write it when you're feeling motivated. Hey, future me. If you're reading this, you're probably feeling stuck. That's exactly what I predicted would happen. Here's what you need to know. You're not failing, you're consolidating. Here's what to do, and then list specific actions. Keep this letter where you'll find it during tough moments. Third, prepare plateau-specific tools in advance. These might include reviewing your victory log from week 1, reaching out to an accountability partner, trying a slight variation of your approach, or consuming motivational content you've pre-selected. Having these ready eliminates the decision fatigue that makes quitting easier. Fourth, avoid the mistake of changing everything during a plateau. When progress slows, people often blow up their entire system and start over. This resets all your progress. For instance, instead of this workout plan isn't working, I'll try a completely different program. I'll continue this plan while adding one small variety. On and reassess in 2 weeks. Most breakthroughs happen right after you push through a plateau with consistency. And speaking of breakthroughs, this final strategy is what separates temporary progress from permanent transformation. This last one is absolutely crucial, and here's why. All the tactics in the world won't stick if your self-image doesn't change. The identity shift statement is a present tense declaration that redefines who you are based on your small wins, not your outcomes. Instead of, I want to be fit, which is future and outcome-based, you say, I am someone who moves their body daily, which is present and behavior-based. Instead of, I'm trying to be a writer, you claim, I am a writer who shows up at the keyboard. You repeat this statement every morning, and after each small win, gradually overwriting your old self-concept. James Clear's research on identity-based habits revealed that behavior change becomes sustainable only when it aligns with self-image. Your brain is hardwired to maintain consistency with your identity. If you see yourself as someone trying to get healthy, you'll unconsciously sabotage efforts to maintain that identity. But if you see yourself as a healthy person, your brain will find ways to prove that identity true. Every small win becomes evidence for your new identity. Did your morning routine? That's evidence you're disciplined. Wrote 100 words? That's evidence you're a writer. Your brain is constantly collecting data to answer, who am I? When you intentionally frame small wins as identity proof, you're reprogramming the answer to that question. Neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman explains that identity-level change activates the prefrontal cortex's self-referential processing, which has greater influence over behavior than willpower alone. Identity pulls behavior automatically, willpower pushes temporarily. First, craft why. Our identity shift statement. Using this formula, I am someone who behavior you're building because core value. For example, I am someone who exercises daily because I value energy and longevity, or I am someone who creates every morning because I value contribution and growth. The because anchors it to something deeper than results. Second, declare it out loud every single morning while looking in a mirror. This activates multiple neural pathways simultaneously: verbal processing, visual processing, and self-recognition. It feels weird at first, which is exactly why it works. The slight discomfort signals to your brain that something important is happening. Third, link your victories to your identity explicitly. In your victory log, occasionally add identity proof next to entries. Wrote 500 words today. Identity proof, I am a writer. This creates explicit neural connections between actions and self-concept. Fourth, avoid outcome-based identity statements. I am wealthy doesn't work when your bank account says otherwise. It creates cognitive dissonance. But I am someone who makes wise financial decisions can be true immediately based on your next choice. For instance, instead of I am a best-selling author, an outcome you don't control, use I am a writer who ships work consistently, a behavior you do control. The latter can be true starting today. Let's quickly review what we covered today because these strategies work exponentially better when used together. Number 1, the 2-minute victory log. Document 3 to 5 small wins daily to rewire your brain's reward system. Number 2, the compounding celebration ritual. Create an instant physical celebration performed within 3 seconds of any small win. Number 3, the comparison kill switch. Compare yourself only to your past self, never to others' highlight reels. Number 4, the micro milestone map. Break Vary goal into 20 to 30 tiny completable milestones that trigger constant motivation. Number 5, the plateau anticipation protocol. Schedule your plateaus in advance so they don't catch you off guard and trigger quitting. Number 6, the identity shift statement. Redefine who you are based on behaviors, not outcomes, and prove it with every small win. Remember, massive growth doesn't come from massive actions. It comes from tiny actions that your brain learns to crave. The difference between people who sustain change and people who burn out isn't talent or willpower. It's systems that make small wins feel genuinely rewarding. You have everything you need to start this transformation right now, today, with the next tiny action you take. Don't wait until Monday, or until you feel motivated, or until conditions are perfect. Those are all stories we tell ourselves to delay action. Start with just one strategy from this video. I recommend the 2-minute victory log because it's the easiest entry point. Tonight, before you sleep, write down 3 wins from today. That's it. That one action will begin rewiring your reward system. I promise you, 90 days from now, when you've stacked thousands of small wins, you'll look back at this moment as the turning point. The version of you that exists 3 months from now is quietly thanking you for watching this video and taking action today. If you found this helpful, hit that like button so YouTube shows this to more people who need it. Subscribe and turn on notifications because I create deep dive self-improvement content like this every week. Drop a comment telling me which of these 6 strategies you're implementing first. I read every comment and I'm genuinely curious which one resonates with you most. And if you want to learn how to build unshakable discipline that doesn't rely on motivation, check out this video next, where I break down the neuroscience of self-control. You've already invested 10 minutes in your growth. Invest 10 more, and you'll have a complete system. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.